They're struggling to cope when a family member is diagnosed with a devastating illness, finds hope and strength when her small daughter pulls her close and whispers, "Trust Jesus." By a show of hands, how many of you believe in faith healing? Now, who thinks we actually can be healed by faith? Faith, according to the Bible dictionary, is hope for things not seen but which are true. To have faith is to have confidence in something or someone. Does this define your faith? Medical problems are faced every day, some more life-threatening than others. In many cases where parents believe in faith-based healing, medical attention is not applied. And as a result, many children have died. Since this occurs, parents who rely solely on faith-based healing should have to forfeit their rights to make medical life or death decisions for their underage children. I'm a convert to the church, and I thought blessings of the sick were set in place in order to heal people. I thought that through the power of the priesthood, Heavenly Father would cure a person in need. I have come to the realization through experience that at times for blessings of the sick may not always have the outcome we hope, but in turn give comfort to the individual's family in need. On the night of Saturday, September 1st, 2012, my grandmother became ill and I was admitted to the hospital. Being the only Latter-day Saint in my family, I thought I could use my priesthood power and give my grandmother a healing blessing. The very next day, I woke up and did my normal routine and got ready for church. It was going to be a long day as soon as it started. I attended my family ward, then my singles ward, and where I would receive the Melchizedek priesthood. As my family ward was coming to a close and transitioning to my singles ward, I asked my bishop in my family ward if he would accompany me in the blessing of my grandmother. He was pleased with the opportunity and happy with my choice to use the priesthood. It then later came the time for me to receive the Melchizedek priesthood. Immediately after receiving the Melchizedek priesthood, my bishop and I headed to the hospital. Once we arrived, we were informed that my grandmother has been unconscious since she arrived at the hospital. This is the point when we laid our hands upon my grandmother's head and gave her a blessing. After the blessing, we chatted for a bit and then left the hospital. Later that night, when my stepbrother and stepsister visited Grandma, she opened her eyes from her unconsciousness and talked for a bit, then returned. The next day, she passed away. Once I heard she awoke, when they were there, was when I knew that the blessing wasn't to heal her, but to give her that one last chance to talk with her daughter and grandchildren. Through this blessing, Heavenly Father comforted my family, and everything would be okay as long as we had faith in Him that He would take care of everything. We need to realize that along with faith, we must do our part. According to ABC News, a couple living in Oregon who are members of Christ Church were sentenced to 16 months in jail for neglecting treatment for their son's urinary tract blockage, which later he died. This is one of many stories around the world, but many in Oregon of members of the same Christ Church. Since this event and 2 more deaths of children, Oregon's House has passed a bill to be tougher on faith-healing parents. This is the point where a national law will be established against. What is the point where a national law will be established against faith-based healing parents? One boy woke up one morning feeling sick. His mom took him to the doctor to find out it was just the flu, and he should stay home from school for a couple of days. After a couple of days, she decided to send him to school. When at the last minute she changed her mind because he was still showing some symptoms. As the mom was holding the boy in her arms, he began to have a seizure. She immediately rushed him to the hospital. Come to find out, his flu was really meningitis. The boy was unconscious for about 17 hours, and during this time, the doctors informed his parents that he would have many complications, such as speech loss and be in diapers the rest of his life. His dad, a member of the Mormon Church, gave him a priesthood blessing, and the boy made a perfect and full recovery. All the doctors were astonished by the boy's extreme recovery. This story shows that we can be healed as long as we do our part. In other words, our part in this situation is to seek medical treatment, and the Lord's part will be to heal that person if it is necessary at that time. The Lord's promise is shown in Doctrine and Covenants 82:10, and it states, I, the Lord, am bound when ye do what I say. But when ye do not what I say, ye have no promise. This shows that if we do what the Lord's command, in this case, seek medical treatment, he will act upon that. But if we do not what he has, no promise of healing is there. The Lord works in mysterious ways, and sometimes we can be healed, and others we may not. Medical aid is put on this earth for a reason. If Heavenly Father wanted us to believe solely in faith healing, he would not have allowed us to develop such technology. In some cultures, faith-based healing has become a big part of what they believe, and they continually deny medical treatment. These parents should have their rights lessened when their child is in extreme need of medical attention. We should have faith whether we are healed or not. I'm not going against priesthood blessings in any way. I think they are one of the most powerful things we have in this church. They give us the opportunity to help people and use our faith to increase others' faith in the process. I'm not asking you to lose your faith or faith in priesthood blessings if the outcome is not what you want. I'm asking you to keep your faith and do your part.